We repping theta, theta, theta. We repping ooh, ooh, ooh. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to my channel. And today, before we get started, please subscribe as well as follow me on Instagram at _extraordinary. And it'll be somewhere on the screen. Today, I want to get into talking about plant-based, the benefits of plant-based for me. Now, I want to say this. Going plant-based or vegan is what some people call it, is not for everyone. Because if you live in Antarctica, you better be eating some penguins and polar bears because you'll starve and you will die. So I just wanted to say that because some people feel like you have to go plant-based to live a healthy lifestyle when it's really not for everybody, right? There's some discretion. But I think that there were benefits for me that I would love to share with you all today. Still transitioning. I'm still weeding things out of my diet and out of what I put in and on my body. I'm still determining what works for me. But the first thing that I recognized was less aches and pains. I think that as I've gotten older, I just feel sometimes there are certain pains and aches and kind of little small things that I notice in my body. And sometimes I would just get random headaches when I didn't really understand why, or one of my nerves in my back. I've always had issues with my back, I feel, in terms of just little small aches and pains and pinched nerves. Maybe my joints were a little bit more achy, but as soon as I really started to transition to eating mostly plants and vegetables and fruits and seeds and nuts, I really started to feel those things subside. I think that before I felt random aches that I couldn't explain, and now it feels almost like I feel lighter, essentially. I feel lighter. My body isn't carrying as much of the load that I allowed it to carry by eating certain things, especially animal and dairy products. I think contributed to a lot of my inflammation and aches and pains. Number 2, and this is a big one because I am an athlete by nature, by heart. I love being able to move my body freely without fear of injury or pain. And so ever since I went plant-based, my athleticism has improved. I'm almost at my high school athletic level. When I was in high school and I played basketball and I ran track and did those things, I feel as if my body has come back to that place. And I feel more trusting of myself. I feel like I have more agility in my movements. So when I dance or when I'm doing yoga, I move fluidly. I move so much more fluidly now than I did before. And I really think it has a lot to do with my diet. Also, I've had knee injuries in the past. So I've torn both of my ACLs and some other ligaments in my knee. Whew, it's a shit show down there. It's a mess. It's a mess in these knees. But I think that because I decided to really supplement my exercise regimen with a plant-based diet, I'm getting the nutrients and vitamins that I need to make my joints around my ligaments stronger. And though I haven't gotten surgery, I've gotten surgery on one of my knees, but I haven't gotten surgery on the other knee, my legs and my knees feel so strong. They feel almost like they've never been injured in the first place. And I definitely think it was because I decided to pay attention to, my nutrient intake and what I need for my personal self and my body to feel strong and to feel like I'm healing up pretty nicely, because food is healing, it's medicine. Number 3, I enjoy eating more because I don't have this thing in the back of my mind. Like when I used to eat cheese, right? I used to be like, all right, I'm gonna eat this cheese, but I know it's gonna mess me up. I know I'm gonna be on the toilet, or I know I might just be at a little bit of discomfort in my body. But of course, because cheese and ice cream and those dairy-based products are delicious, I was willing to take the L. But now that I've transitioned, I'm not willing to risk it. As a result of the benefits of my body just feeling more comfortable with certain foods that I eat and then I don't necessarily want to go back to eating certain things because I've seen the light, essentially, right? I've seen it. I've seen the benefits of just my mood doesn't change when I eat certain foods. And actually, my mood does change because sometimes I don't eat in the mornings because I'm just not hungry. And typically I fast until about 12 in the afternoon, 1 o'clock. But whenever I wake up kind of, irritable, or whenever I wake up just in a mood, I eat plants and I eat fruits. I try to eat vegetables. I try to drink my teas and eat my anti-inflammatory foods. And it alters my mood for the better. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel more mental clarity, and it makes me feel clear on my intentions, and it makes me feel energized. I have so much energy when I eat. I know back then I would go straight to sleep, or I would just be sluggish and tired, but I don't feel that much anymore. Sometimes when I eat certain things, I still feel it, but for the most part, I really don't get tired when I eat. I feel like, all right, what's next? Let's go, because I have the energy because of what I'm eating. I really feel like that's what it is. Number 4, y'all, let me tell you something. I've always had acne prone skin. It's genetic, it's hereditary, it runs in my family, and my skin has been a challenge for me most of my life. So when I started to transition into plant-based, meaning it's a lifestyle, right? So meaning I started to pay attention to what I put on my skin. So products that I use have maybe 1 or 2 ingredients for the most part. Mine is like Cetaphil. I still use Cetaphil because I really like the gentle cleansing that it gives. But for the most part, I use oils and butters on my skin, and I've just seen my skin just take a turnaround. I have chronically dry skin. And I think that when I started to pay attention to using plant-based products, right, like aloe vera oil and black seed oil on my skin, and just different kind of oil-based products, shea butters, and any 1 or 2 ingredient things where it's like what you're seeing is what you're putting on your skin, it has drastically improved my skin. And I rarely get breakouts. Like I used to get breakouts all the time. And now I might get a few breakouts before the onset of my period. But for the most part, my skin stays clear all month long. And I rarely have dry skin. And I don't have to do as much to my skin now because it's getting what it needs. It's getting the nutrients that it needs. Our skin needs nutrients, And I never thought about that in that way. But our skin needs the nutrients. Number 5. This is for my ladies. Let me tell y'all something, and maybe comment down below if you've experienced this by maybe shifting your diet a little bit or even going plant-based. My periods are so much more manageable. Ugh. For those of you who've been around women who have unbearable and excruciating periods, you know how hard it is to watch or even to be in that situation. But as a result of me wanting to take control of my body, and especially around that time of the month, of course, I was like, I have to at least try for my period. I have to at least try to go plant-based because I've heard that there are so many benefits to it. And it really is. Like, I am a believer. And I'm not saying that I don't have cramps because my cramps are still horrible. But what I don't really have anymore is PMS symptoms. My mood is pretty stable the whole month. I don't have sore boobs, and my boobs used to literally go up like a cup size. I know this is a lot of information, but we're here. We're here and you're with me. I couldn't sleep on my chest because it was so painful, and I felt so inflamed and bloated all over. I just didn't feel like myself when I would, like for 2 weeks out of the month, I was just going through it all because of my regular period. But over time, now it didn't happen overnight because I was still getting some of these symptoms, but over time, I literally don't really experience PMS very much at all. Like I said, I might get bloated a little bit a few days before my period, and sometimes I have slight cramping around ovulation, but for the most part, my period is chill. It comes, I meditate, I do CBD treatment because it's plant-based, right? I'm sick of over-the-counter medicine. I'm telling you, when I say a plant-based, I'm going in. Like, everything that I put in my body comes from the earth is what I want. So I stopped taking medicine, started to use, plant-based products for my cycle. And it's been a learning experience. But when I tell you, my symptoms are so manageable. And even like, I can even speak to dairy. So maybe this last year and a half has been an experiment for me, just trying different things with my, lifestyle and my diet and what I put on my body. But I decided to cut out dairy for a few months. And that's really when the PMS kind of stopped. And then I went back to eating cheese and milk-based products at times. And those symptoms really came right back. It's crazy what kind of shifted. And so I would not even attribute that to stop eating meat. It was the dairy that helped my period just get so much more manageable. And I'm going to keep looking for ways to make it even more manageable. For the most part, I still have anxiety because I lived so many years in fear of the pain, the chronic pain that came with my period. But now I'm realizing that I'm seeing the benefits, that this diet actually works. This lifestyle change has actually been beneficial to my cycle. And so I'm also using meditative techniques so that I won't have so much anxiety around my period. PMS, bye. Go home. Leave. You're no longer welcome. Move along. Number 6, maintaining my weight has been a big thing. And so in my past, I've definitely focused a lot of energy on losing weight, toning up. And it wasn't until I stopped focusing on the act of losing weight that when I started losing weight, because I started to change the way I viewed my body, to just really accept my body. Once I started to kind of get to a place of acceptance, like, this is the condition in which my body is in. How can I take my power back and gain control over the things that I feel like I was losing control over? And that was my weight. My weight was fluctuating. It was up and down for a long time. I also was stressed at a period in my life because I was in school. But my weight was it was always so hard to lose weight, it seemed. But as soon as I stopped thinking about losing the weight, and as soon as I started to shift what I was eating, and I didn't even really exercise that much at this time, I just started losing weight. And I didn't think a lot about it. It was just, I want my body to feel better, and I want to treat my body and give it what it needs to be healthy, and give it what it needs to carry me through this one life that I have. And so I started to be delicate with my body. Like, what do you need? What do you need, baby? What do you need? What do you need? I've maintained my weight for 3 or 4 months now. I stay between 140 and 145. And that was my high school weight. No, that's not true. I was actually slimmer in high school since college. I haven't been that weight since college. And so I really think that it was me just being committed to going plant-based, and not just what I put in my body. It's not just about the food, you all. It's about what I'm putting on my body. What am I allowing myself to consume? Even down to my music. Like, my music is plant-based. It's not a thing, but I balance it because I know it's important to pay attention to what I consume. And also with maintaining my weight, I become an intuitive eater. So I don't do diets. I don't pay attention. I pay attention to what I eat, of course. And I'm also very conscious of how I think about when I eat what I'm about to eat. How is it going to affect my body, and how does it affect my body in the past? And that helps me determine what I'm going to eat. It really does. Because I don't play about feeling uncomfortable. I don't want to be, my stomach shouldn't be rumbling uncomfortably when I'm eating. I should be celebrating and rejoicing and using that as fuel to do my next thing, right? And so because I intuitively eat, my weight just is stable. And I don't eat too much. I eat small meals throughout the day, because I just eat whenever I'm really truly hungry, and whenever I feel like my body needs some kind of nutrients, I eat. I don't usually eat in the mornings, but I will if I have to, if I wake up super hungry, because I'm very aware of my moods, and I'm very aware of how food plays a part in my overall well-being. So my weight has been maintained because of my plant-based diet. And of course I do exercise and I do yoga, I do those things, but it's not like crazy. I do it maybe 3 to 5 times a week or so. And that's just kind of what I I intuitively move, especially with my diet. And as a result, my weight has really stabilized. And I don't even think about losing weight anymore because one, I'm not the body, but two, that doesn't matter to me. It just matters that I feel good in my body. Number seven, my mentality toward food has changed. So now I feel like I just don't want to eat certain things. It's almost this fear to put certain things in my body if I don't know the ingredients, or if I don't know what's in it, or if I feel like there's something in it that has given me, discomfort in the past in my body. I'm just like, no, I'm not. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I think this is especially important when I don't cook, because I think the thing about going plant-based or vegan is you have to cook a lot. So you have to be committed to getting off autopilot so that you can really start to take control of what you're eating. And so for me, it was like, I need to change my mentality toward food, right? So now I eat to live. I eat to live a healthy and a full life. I want to be athletic and I want to be strong, and I don't want to fear that my joints will break down on me because I'm not taking care of my body and I'm not watching what I put on my body or in my body. It has changed my life, and I don't plan on stopping. I actually plan on learning more about this plant-based lifestyle. So if you have any tips for me, I am as open as a book. I don't know everything. I don't have the information, and I'm so open to learning. And if you want to share your experience with me, comment down below. But then again, thank you so much for joining me today. Again, subscribe and follow me on Instagram at _extraordinary. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I hope that you're blessed, and I hope that you find abundance and happiness, and I hope that this video was beneficial for you. But thank you again for coming, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Sometimes I wonder where we gonna end up at.